Hello, people. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Jaffa, Holy Cow Girl, Billy and Mama 2, Misty Rainbow,
Hello.
hey, Bruce, hello. Give everybody a few minutes to pile on in.
Lisa.
Yes,
Hold on. We have two live streams going on, girlfriend.
I know. It's your channel and mine at the same
Oh.
time.
Oh. Never
Isn't that
mind.
what we do? Remember, I just got excited because I did it all by myself.
I do remember now.
I didn't need Jaffa's help. I did it. Huh?
Oh, good. All right.
Who does?
Don't mind me, people.
Oh,
Don't
hold
mind me.
on,
I'm a
hold
little
on.
slow.
Hold,
All right,
all
that
right,
one.
hold please, Ability and Moms. I will give it to you. Hello, everybody. We're just waiting for more people to pile in before we start. Oh, well, thank you, Ability and Mom, for bringing people in. I greatly appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody that has joined us. I am going to get you that Twitter in 2 seconds. I'm working on a. Hey, Dreams.
Susan, how are you? Dreams. Hello. Donna,
Hello,
Wicked
Susan.
Insanity. Misty. Jerk. Cowgirl.
Hold on 1 second. I got to
Sharon.
help Skeeter with something.
Karen.
Hold on. I'll be right back, Doris. I got to help.
All right. All right. So
That's the email
tonight,
address you sign in. Once you sign into that email address, Jacqueline will get a code, and then her send me the code, and then you should be set. Once you're ready to go live, I'll walk you through sharing everything. Okay, sorry. I thought I muted.
nope, you didn't.
Oops, sorry. I apologize. Too many things happening at once.
So tonight we are doing another sex trafficking stream, but on this one, so originally we were going to work on Robert Kelly, but we thought because there's so much going on with that case, and right now all there is speculation and accusations. We decided to hold off on that stream for a little bit, and we would continue on with almost a continuation of the Ashton Kutcher sex trafficking thing, but this time we are going to do one more zoned in on motorcycle rallies like Sturgis. And we found an association that sets up at different bike rallies across the country. And we thought tonight's stream would be focused on them like we did with Ashton Kutcher.
Right. And because R. Kelly is R. Kelly and there's a lot of publicity and a lot of things going on, it's better for us not to talk about it. We are going to talk about it, but just not right now. So, and how are we giving out false information? We ain't said nothing yet, Mike. Okay. You're welcome, Billy and Mom. Sorry, I thought I muted.
So,
And Skeeter
Mike,
asked me
and
questions.
that's
Okay.
exactly why we held off on the Robert Kelly thing. So we weren't giving out false information. Mike, so what the fuck? Huh?
Yeah. Huh?
Huh?
Okay. Can you turn that video on? Okay. So, as we all know, Ken, the Redneck Connection, is the one that asked us to cover, talk about the stuff in Sturgis that goes on here in South Dakota. Because it is very big. A very big problem in our truck stops and stuff here in South Dakota. So, because at the very last minute we decided not to do R. Kelly, Robert, I am just following Doris's lead because I was
Yes.
not prepared for this. I was prepared to do R. Kelly, but we changed at the very last minute. So I'm following Doris's lead, and what I know, I will chime in on.
All right. So the group that we're focusing on tonight is called Bikers Against Sex Trafficking. And like I said, they set up at different, they started out originally at just Sturgis, but they've recently started different chapters throughout the country so they can be at multiple bike rallies. And what they do is they not only educate other bikers on how to spot victims of sex trafficking, but they also provide information. They set up clinical therapies for victims of sex trafficking. They help with daily living supplies, like they get the people who they're helping toiletries, clothing, bedding. They help them find housing. Is that you, Lisa?
No,
It's not you, Lisa. Is it me? No.
I'm not doing anything.
Is it this one? No, it's not that one. I don't know who that is then.
I don't hear anything. I think you're going crazy.
Oh, maybe it's just my computer then. But they help them find housing.
Because I'm watching so much jet wash.
They continue counseling. They hook them up with counselors and trauma people that help them get over whatever they may have been affected by being a victim of sex trafficking. They also speak at churches to raise awareness. They offer mental health counseling. They speak at youth groups and schools and military bases. And they've recently just expanded into Mexico and the Ukraine. And they have recently started a chapter in Alberta, Canada. And as you know, a lot of Ukrainians are big people affected by sex trafficking because they're brought over to the United States. So it's kind of good that they have one set up over there to kind of help right from the bat. But the group itself, let me get back to that page. It was originally started by Rainey and Doc, who are husband and wife. Doc is a motorcyclist and Rainey is his wife. He is also a pastor. And Rainey is actually a survivor of sex trafficking. And she often speaks about her experience. And she came from an Italian Catholic family where her father was admired and respected. She worked hard in school, so no one would ever have suspected the horror she faced at home. She endured bodily inspections, lineups, suffered beatings, and was locked in closets and threatened to keep quiet in order to survive. She had to be on her best behavior. Rainey's body was sold to the kind of men and women children are typically told to trust: doctors, lawyers, businessmen, teachers, even a police officer. It became hard for Rainey to trust anyone. Fear of being punished for speaking out pushed her into silence and submission. She says that she hid her pain behind a perfect smile and perfect body. It was easier to not cause problems and being the perfect kid. Rainey's father made up to $1 million a year trafficking her until she was 17. And when she was able to run away, even though she was finally free, she felt lost. She states, "At the time, I felt like an animal that was cast out into the streets." Rainey said she is still today haunted by her childhood. She experiences flashbacks, nightmares, but has come a very long way in the past 20 years, which is why her husband and her started Bikers Against Trafficking. and they also help with addiction and clinical trauma. And she says, I have found God as I know him. Rainey is not her real name, but her alias she uses when telling her story. Bikers Against Trafficking is stationed in Orlando and takes a unique approach to preventing sex trafficking. According to federal law, sex trafficking is a commercial sex act that is induced by force, fraud, or coercion. Coercion. It is also the harboring, transportation, or obtaining of a person in subjection of that person to involuntary servitude. Florida ranks the third in the nation for human trafficking, according to floridahealth.gov. Tampa ranks number one in trafficking, and Orlando ranks second in the state. Bikers Against Trafficking is a 501, and they believe that bikers are the eyes and ears of a community and are more likely to see individuals being sold for sex. The organization raises awareness and of what sex trafficking looks like. It's not the glamorous looking pimp with the gold teeth and chains. It's not always like the movie Taken, where the girl is foreign country and are being handcuffed to beds. Anyone can be a trafficker, and no one is exempt from being a victim. Sex trafficking is slavery, manipulation of self-worth. Though it may be simple education on signs and symptoms of victims and discussing the possible grooming or manipulation tactics used by traffickers, could be a key in prevention strategy. The bikers speak all across Florida, informing churches, groups, organizations, mental health gatherings, state departments, and colleges about the potential signs of sex trafficking. They train people to notice sudden changes in behavior, like wearing new clothes, dressing provocatively, or new and unusual tattoos or marks. If these signs are present, Randy said the best option is to call a sex trafficking hotline that helps build evidence for a potential sex trafficking case. The group has also a unique housing plan for sex trafficking survivors, which fosters a sense of identity for survivors. A survivor is given time to reflect on who she really is. She can explore personal taste, decoration, favorite color, or even a favorite food. A member, Robert, currently Bat's housing programs holds 24 people. It has helped an average of 19 clients per week and 113 clients this year alone. But sex trafficking is such a prevalent issue in the state of Florida that they are constantly seeking donations. And we will put in links to, they have a YouTube page that has a PayPal. They also have a Facebook page. And at this past rally in Sturgis,
Hold on, hold on. Hold on,
I
hold
don't
on. Take a breath for a minute, Doris.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't
Yes,
even have my.
Susan, I agree. I am. Wait, Doris, she got it. She gets passionate. We got to pay attention in the chat. Hold on. Hello, all the new that came. I'm gonna ask that people respectfully respect our comment, our topic tonight, and try to leave politics out of this. Politicians right now have nothing to do with this. This is about women being dragged into sex trafficking and all that entails. This has nothing to do with politicians now or politicians from before. So I ask that you be respectful on this topic because this is a serious topic, and have a little respect for the survivors that we are talking about. Is all I'm asking. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be a bitch. But we do these things for a reason, and we would hope that if you're here, you will respect our topic and be respectful in chat and give something back in the chat as what we're talking about. Not everything has to deal with politics. Um, and yes, Susan, I respect that they don't call them victims, they call them survivors. I know coming from what I've experienced in my life, I don't see myself as a victim. I see myself as a survivor. Because as a survivor, if you look at yourself as a survivor, you don't stay there. You don't stay in what happened
Right.
to you. If you constantly look at yourself as a victim, you're going to stay there. And 9 times out of 10, and I'm not downplaying what happens to went through crimes like this or situations similar to this. But what happens if you stay in a victim mentality? Nothing ever gets better for you. Nothing. And those type of people tend to have the poor me attitude. You know what I mean? And it is hard. It's not easy to rise above being raped or being molested or going through what these women have went through. It's not something easy to get out of. It's not something that you easily forget. But it's a once you come out of being a victim and you become a survivor, I feel it's your responsibility to try to bring light and help other victims become survivors as too. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to be harsh. But if you have a
Right.
victim mindset, you're never going to leave there. And bad things happen. Bad things happen. Um,
And you also have to remember
and
too
we're
that
here to encourage.
there's so like sometimes it's hard
I'm
for
sorry. Go on.
a survivor of either rape, sex trafficking, abuse to even realize that they're a victim or a survivor. Um, Sometimes they don't know because they, especially with children or people that are brought here from other places that are brought to a strange place, they think that's normal. And it's not until they get affiliated with people around them that they realize, wait a minute, this isn't normal. Especially when you wonder, why doesn't anybody say anything? Why doesn't anybody do anything? Can't they see what's going on? And they don't realize that people can't see what's going on. So that's why sometimes survivors end up getting Stockholm's because they unconsciously develop a caring for their captor or their abuser or whatever the situation may be. So a lot of times it takes a very long time for them to even come to terms, or if it's like a rape, it could take decades for a child to report abuse or a rape. Or I just want to say
Right.
that.
And we're here to encourage. We're here to encourage. We're here to spread, not just tell the stories of this horrible, disgusting act that is going on. And I'm only sidetracking for a minute because I seen what was going on in chat. Those sly comments, those disrespectful things that were going on in our chat is the reason why men and women do not report their rapes, do not report these crimes because of stuff like that. It's not being taken seriously. That's why sex trafficking has become as big as it has gotten because people aren't taking it seriously. This is why R. Kelly allegedly got away with it for as long as he did because no one took it seriously because he's R. Kelly. Same with Bill Cosby. He's Bill Cosby. Allegedly. Allegedly. Okay? And like Dustin said, Ashton Kutcher, in the prime of his career, gave it all up to bring light to this topic. Um, darn it, I forgot his name again. What is his name? John Legend. John Legend put hold on his career for a little bit to bring down help bring down R. Kelly. If you watched Surviving R. Kelly, he put a halt and he stopped. And he was one of the first ones to stand up besides DMX and say, what this man's doing is wrong. Allegedly doing is wrong.
Yeah. And I
So
think,
all I ask is that you don't have to agree with the topics that we're at right now, but be respectful.
yep.
because there are victims. There are people that suffer. I am a survivor of molestation and rape, and here I am. So I'm asking. It is not an easy thing to talk about. It's not an easy topic to discuss, and it also is not easy for the survivors of this to come out of it and become survivors and not stay victims. So we're trying to give light to this subject, and if we can reach one person that sees this stream and know that there's somebody out there they could talk to, know somebody out there is taking this seriously, and knowing that they can reach out for help, they can say, "I need help. This has happened." Then that's we done our job. But respectfully, I'm asking the chat to respect our comments and keep your comments in chat respectful to the topic. Okay, go on. I'm sorry, Doris.
That's
And I
okay.
need to let Doris breathe because you seen her, right?
I get just so
That's right, Dustin.
enveloped.
Of course, Daphne. And that is correct, Dustin. At this point, it's not a political thing, it's a human thing. We will get to the political part of this stuff because there is
Right.
always a side that where they could be doing something. But right now, it's not the political point. Right
Right.
now, we are trying to give light to the victims because the victims are, in my eyes, the ones that are still stuck in this situation. And then to the survivors and how we can help. And then we'll get to the rest. Okay.
Uh,
Um,
now
on that
you've all
Somebody
note,
woke
said
up Gaffa,
Gaffer endorsed.
on
little
on
Fluffy.
that note, before Doris gets a little bit, because she really needs to calm that face is red. Calm down, Doris. All right, I know you're passionate
I
about it.
need
Calm down.
my emotional
Yes,
kiddies. That's what I
yes.
need.
And on saying that, Lisa is very passionate about this because she is a survivor. But those out there who are survivors, and if you are currently not going through sexual abuse, and you haven't spoken about it, and you have had that issue in the past and still not spoken about it, joking may be a way of handling and coping with the trauma that you've had to go through. Snide remarks is not joking in an appropriate setting. I have not made comments in the chat in my usual capacity because I take this seriously, and the slightest comment, although in joking and jesting and allowing you to cope with a situation in which you feel that you have to deal with, does not make other people who are doing their best to cope, handle, and take seriously this topic. That is the reason why snippets and snide comments in the chat are not good. If you have something to say which would help the situation and help you start talking about it, by all means, you put your 2 cents worth in the chat if you feel comfortable doing that, and if you feel that it'll help other people with how they can deal with the situation themselves, because there are some people that we know that are still trying to deal with past indiscretions and issues surrounding this topic. And please do not think that you don't know anybody, because some people just don't talk about the issue that they had and the issue they went through. And this is one of the reasons why Lisa and Doris think this is a very important subject to keep bringing back up and to keep putting out there, to get people talking, to get it in the forefront of people's mind, and to
Captain
give
Dirk, we
the
were not pointing anyone out.
no,
So
and to give victims a comfortable place to try and talk about what they're going through, and take the steps to heal from the issues that they've been going through, as well as bring the public who are not aware of what's going on a little bit of hello, this is happening, people. Thank you.
the statistics say there's one in every three women that are affected by either physical or sexual abuse. So if you
And the
look at how
statistics
many women are in
are
this
one
chat right now,
sided. Okay, and statistics, unfortunately, ladies, statistics are one sided. Only women are reporting sexual abuse in a relationship or in a situation. Men do, even though it's only a smaller percentage, do have to go through this as well in
Right.
sexual abuse
Well, and
as well.
I was gonna say, they say that 64% of sexual abuse goes unreported, and the majority of those are men. So if you think about how many people we have in chat right now, there's a very good possibility that there's a few that either have been sexually or physically abused. So snide remarks or jokes about it, that's part of the reason why, from people that have come forward, why it takes them so long to report it, because they feel like they're not going to be believed and people are
Right.
going to target them and make fun of them. And but all right.
And we were asked to do this topic by Ken. So we're trying to give Ken what he asked us for. And Doris has worked hard. I was unprepared. I'm not gonna lie, I was unprepared tonight because I thought we were doing R. Kelly, but Doris came, ding ding ding. She saved the night. So we are doing this for Ken because
Night,
Ken is the one
Josie.
that asked us to do this.
And just
Good
so
night,
everyone
Josie.
knows,
Donna,
the main reason why we are not discussing the R. Kelly case is because at the moment it is still in the air, up and going, and everything is supposition. So it's been put off for a later date. So this is our new subject, folks.
Yes. So up just last year,
thank you,
there
Barry.
were 11 men arrested in a sex sting operation at Sturgis alone. And the year in 2018, there were 7. So every year they do have sex operations at bike rallies, and they do exist. There are people that take advantage of people like
And
that.
I've learned from missionary work. And I've learned from missionaries work for my church because we do missionary work at the truck stops because here in South Dakota, that is where a lot of the girls get dropped off is at truck stops, and then they're uh, the people that are meeting the girls pick them up, and then they go wherever, which is mainly the Sturgis. Um, so we go to the truck stops and we hand out pamphlets to our drivers and anyone that comes in about the sex trafficking and all these teenage girls that are coming, anyone and everyone that comes through them truck stops. So hoping that one of the girls will get signed or something, ask for help in some way. And it didn't happen with my church, but one of the other churches in the area, I want to say it was in Aberdeen, they did the same thing, the Assembly of God there. And one of the girls actually went to the bathroom because they're followed. They're not allowed to go by themselves. She was able to take her eyeliner out of her bra and write a note on a piece of the brown paper towel that was that there's in the truck stop bathrooms and ask for help. And when she didn't take it when she walked in because in her mind, if she could grab a pamphlet and sneak this little piece of brown paper towel into the person's hand, she would get help. So as she walked out, they handed her the pamphlet and she snuck the note to the person. I believe it was the pastor. He read the note, looked at the little girl, and then called on his cell phone and called the police and got the truck's license plate. That truck was stopped, and there was 2 other girls in the truck with him that was going to be dropped off to somebody at the next truck stop. So miracles happen. Just say.
Yes, Dustin.
So if people think it's not happening here, it's happening here.
Especially with cases of sexual abuse, they do tend to blame the victim or the survivor and talk about what she's wearing or what she was doing in the moments before she decided she didn't want to do it, and that's why a lot of times it's very hard to find guilt or a false claim. Not only that, but they say it's not very uncommon, and this goes for sex trafficking also, for the survivor to recant their statement and say, "Oh no, that really didn't happen. I was wrong. I mistook it. That no, we weren't. It was okay. I wanted to go there, or I wanted to do that."
Right.
Because they haven't completely, like we were saying earlier, they haven't completely come to it in their own terms, in their own mind. They still haven't figured out what happened to them. So how can they fully explain to other people? And then you have to remember, like in a article I was reading, they were saying they have to recant the story to the police. Then they have to recant the story to the district attorney. Then they have to tell a room full of people all over again. And then they have to do it again. So that's in the grand jury, the
Right.
courtroom, and the
And not just
defense, if
that,
the defense
not
wants to
just
talk
that,
to them.
and not just that, the examination after your rape is painful.
Right.
It's
And not only
extremely painful.
that, but
Because
it's in a lot of cases,
a lot
it's like being victimized all over again,
over again,
the
it is.
examination.
Because I can tell you from experience, when you're examined after your rape, when you're raped, they're not gentle. This isn't like
No.
you're in the bed with your partner and having intercourse. They are not gentle. So you are raped, you are torn. There are sores and stuff that happens you didn't think can happen. So when they go to stick that big Q-tip looking thing up there, and they're examining you, and they're making you pee in the cup, and then you get the stitches, and that is painful. It is just as painful as when you've been raped. So that is the reason out
Susan,
of uh, it's just, and your first instinct when you're raped and you're sexually assaulted is to jump in that shower and wash it off you. That is your first instinct. What you see in the movies and on criminal the SV, all them, that is, and you see a woman do that, and you're thinking in your head, no, you can't help it. That's your first instinct, is to get it off you. So that kind of hurts the process of finding the accuser too.
mhm. Right, Susan, but in some cases they do take back their statement. A lot of times, especially in one of those recounting of their experience, especially if they're being cross-examined, because the defense attorney is going to pick apart everything that woman says, or that man says, or that child says. And they're going to say, "Are you sure that's what happened?" That's what I meant. But yeah, so, and a lot of times that's why they don't want to, they wonder, is it worth going through all that? And it takes them a long
Right.
time to figure out, yeah, it is worth it because I want justice. Is it worth living on the streets with your attacker or your pursuer or your captive? Or is it worth getting justice and not having to live in fear for the rest of your life? Because you got to figure, like,
Right.
especially with sex trafficking, even if they're able to escape, they're in a strange place. They don't know where they are. they don't know, sometimes they don't know who their captors were if they wear masks. So it could be everyone they pass on the street. So they live in fear
And
constantly.
you also got to think about is that when they are being picked up by these people that they may not see, their captor, there is never just one person involved in this sex ring. So even though that one capture has been
Hi, Dojo.
just,
Sorry.
there is more, and they know this. So they're still scared. They're still scared because there's more people out there that know who they are. It's because that
Right.
one man or woman was picked up. There's more that know who they are. So they're still scared.
And a lot of times, from articles I've read or true crime stories I've seen, in situations like this, they make one person the trustworthy one. So one of the captives will, or one of the captors, I'm sorry, will befriend the person being held. So the person being held believes they can trust that person and feel safe with that person. So not all of them are bad guys.
Oops.
Yeah, Susan, I hope that, I mean, dreams, I hope that doing this, these streams become a place where everyone feels safe, which is why.
She's not talking about us, Doris. She's not talking about us. Doris, she's not. Doris, she's not talking about us. She's talking about Susan. She's not thinking us. She's thinking Susan.
I know, but earlier she had said how she thought that people should be able to tell their stories in this stream if they're survivors.
No, they should.
Um,
And Dustin has a very good point. And that's what people forget too. Is Dustin said lesser of one evil. And the bad part that some women don't have a choice.
yeah,
Yes. And that's the problem too. When this goes to court and it goes to trial, these women are looked at and because say of their profession, them being a prostitute or a call girl, or because they were in um, sex trafficking, that they had a choice, and that the women with the sex trafficking had no choice. A lot of the times, the younger prostitutes on the street, um, they don't have a choice neither. A lot of people don't know that. Um, I've seen in New York where the Russians and a lot of other cultures bring women here and then put them to work on the street. They think they're coming to New York, especially, the land of opportunity. It's New York, bright lights, big city. And then they get put on the street
yep,
to work on the street corners. And they don't have a choice. And then when a prostitute gets raped and they try to report it, they get looked at and they get frowned upon because they're a prostitute. It don't matter if you're a
right,
prostitute, you're a regular woman like me and Doris and us chat. It don't matter what you are, what you do. No means no.
right. And
If
that's the
you are
same
told to
thing
stop,
for,
you stop.
right. And that's the same thing for a married couple. Some people believe that if
Right.
you're your attacker's spouse, then it's not rape. And that's not true either.
And folks, please remember there is a very very fine line between consent and tolerance. Um, at any time during um, uh, an act or an interaction, if you choose that this is not going where you want it to go, you need to clearly and precisely and loudly say that this is not where you want this to go. This was not what you originally thought was going to happen. Please stop. Don't do that. I'm not interested in taking it down that road. And that happens whether it's in new confrontations, in old relationships, in marriages, in whatever. If a situation of this type is
Where's
heading
the
down a
pen?
road you don't want it to head down, don't just
Go,
lay back and put up with
go
it
tell
because
Denny.
that your obligation to the relationship, because the obligation of the other party is to make sure that you're as happy in doing what it is that you both are doing as it is one person to be. So saying that you don't want something is giving your options and opinions voice, sitting back and letting it happen and then wishing it didn't happen afterwards, and then deciding that, hold on, I didn't feel right, he did something wrong or she did something wrong, I need to complain about it now, is not really the best course of doing it. It's best to stand up, stop it from happening, make sure that you let everyone know that you're uncomfortable with what's going on, and give them the option to change their mind at the time. After that, then it becomes something you can physically take further and complain about and make a big issue because they ignored your choices and pleas.
Right. Like I know that a lot of
And there's
court, like I watch a lot of court TV and things like that, and that will be a lot of, most of the time that's exactly what the survivor is asked. Did you ever say no, or I don't want to? And
Can I just address something for a minute before we go too
yes.
much? Susan, I'm not having an argument with you
Mhm.
over correct grammar. Um, it may be called recanting when somebody takes back their rape report or abuse report, but that doesn't make it the correct terminology that needs to be used. The definition of recanting is to change your belief or opinion of a certain thing that you had before. To retract means to take back, but to recant means to change. So that's just I'm not having the argument. All right.
and there's another issue that we discussed too, where there's a fine line. And where Doris said they're asked if they said no. A lot of times these girls are drugged, they are drunk. Um, a lot of times when women or men are raped, they are drugged and they don't remember. So
Yep.
to that's another problem with prosecuting and with the rape and the trafficking is because they don't remember a lot of things because they were drugged and they can't remember whether they said yes when they said no or they said stop.
Right. And
So
that's even if a chemical was
yeah,
used. Sometimes,
I didn't I didn't mean it that way, Dustin. I didn't mean that they wasn't regular women. I'm talking about like women that have what is considered regular professions. A nurse, a lunch lady, a
right.
teacher, a doctor. That's what I meant. And like you said, they're frowned upon. They're looked down. They're like nothing. They're scum.
Right.
So when they come in and say that they were raped, it's not really looked at as a rape because of their profession. That was the point I was trying to make. I wasn't saying that they wasn't regular women and that they're not that their rape shouldn't be taken seriously. But I was saying that it should be, but it's not taken seriously because of their profession.
It's not
All right,
only
Doris,
that, it
sorry.
is more considered in society that because um, a prostitute trades in sex and sexual favors and that kind of thing, the the person who's paying for the act should be allowed to have what it is that they're paying for, which is a very bad misconception of prostitution, because usually it is determined at the beginning of each transaction exactly what they're paying for, and then they expect it to go a little bit more because they're the payer,
Right.
and that's the payee, and you should get your service. But that does not demean or belittle the fact that these women do get raped and they do get forced into situations they do not wish to be in, and they should not be put down or belittled because of that.
And the prime
Yes.
example of this, Dustin, and I understand, I just wanted to make sure you didn't take me the wrong way. Prime of this is one of our very first female serial killers, and I followed this story very, very, very closely, was Eileen Warnos.
Mm-hmm.
Eileen Warnos was a prostitute. who was raped. She was raped very young in age, very, very young in age. Got pregnant by her stepfather, was kicked out. No one wanted to hear her. Nobody wanted to hear her. Then she went on to she hitchhiked to get to Florida, sleeping with men along the way. And then in Florida, she was raped. After the second time, she was raped and brutally raped. This woman was brutally raped. Like, I couldn't even imagine going through what this woman went through. At that point, because nobody would listen to her because she was a prostitute and because of her past, she started killing men. Because at that point, she felt all men were raping and was going to hurt her. So when she got, just as they were about to have intercourse with her, she killed them. Because in her mind, they were going to rape her. I'm not making excuses for the woman, but that's you know, that's one of the most well prostitutes I know that was raped and no one paid attention to, and she lost every love in mind.
Yep. Yes, sir. But yes, so back to Sturgis and sex trafficking.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. It kind of all goes hand in hand, which is why it kind of all reflects. Like some nationalities or some beliefs, the sex trafficking goes down through generations. So there was one survivor story that I read that pretty much her parents were sold basically for sexual favors. She was sold by her parents. Her parents were sold by her grandparents by her great grandparents. So they never, none of her family ever realized that there was anything wrong with it because it had gone so far back that it was almost like when your great grandmother teaches your grandmother a chicken pie recipe and she passes it down to your mother. It's almost something like that. That, well, why do you do it that way? Well, I don't know, because this is the way my mother told me to, and that's the way her mother told her to do it. And you know what I mean? So it's like if you don't know any different, it becomes a normal way of life. And that's another reason why a lot of this never gets reported until they said the average age of a child abuse survivor or a sexual abuse survivor is 50. They said so it's not uncommon for it to take decades for someone to report a sex crime against them. Because part of sex trafficking is it's not only like it's not from just from another country. It can be your own family selling you off for money, basically prostituting you out to local businessmen, Hello Fish, or like, so like it's not only dragging someone to a strange place, it can be their home and what they're used to. And they just get, it's expected that they're going to have sex with the local business guy or the local police guy, or, and that's another reason why we think it's important that people are aware of it and you know, or you understand certain signs of someone who is a survivor of sex trafficking. It doesn't have to be someone that doesn't speak English or doesn't speak the native language. It can be your neighbor next door. Almost, it's very similar to child abuse. There's very subtle signs that show. And that's why I think it's always best to contact a hotline, not Like we had people in chat in some of the child abuse cases saying, well, I would just shoot that guy, or because sometimes the signs are so subtle, you don't know if that's actually the case or if that was a one-time thing. So call the proper authorities, call the hotline, and let them take it. Does that make sense, Lisa? Lisa, are you there? Did she desert me, Lisa? She deserted me. She left me alone. She knows better. I am not left to be to my own devices. Okay, there she is.
Do I need to come and fluff?
She she answered me in chat, but thank you, Fluff. I appreciate you being there as my backup, Fluffy.
Hold on, just let me find my feather and I'll come and fluff you up. All right?
So that is why the bikers against sex trafficking set up tables and things at the biker rallies.
It's not only that. If you look into the bikers against trafficking, you will notice that because they do these rallies year after year after year, the more astute and respectable, and I've got to use the word respectable, members of the bike rallies who are trying to generate a positive attitude about bikers and their clubs and these rallies and everything else, have noticed very obviously that trafficking is under people's noses right where they're staring, and people are basically ignoring it. And so they've decided to stand up against what they are seeing at their rallies, what they are generally understanding is being seen in communities around the world. And I mean, all for them, I reckon, wonderful, brilliant, absolutely smashing idea to do this. I've over the years watched bikers add to different types of charities and events and everything else that are really, really meaningful to the community. So yeah, that basically is my point. These guys have seen what's going on at their rallies, and they want to clean up the rallies to make the rallies have a better reputation than what they're currently getting. And this is one of the main issues that they're up against.
Yes. And some of the things that they talk about is signs could be something as simple for someone who pays for all of a person's items, or maybe speaks on their behalf in a restaurant or a salon for a hairstyle, or a tattoo shop for what tattoo that person wants. You can have someone who doesn't have a lot of their own possessions. So it gets easy to hide that course during the rally because a lot of people are traveling on bikes. So they're really conservative with what they're bringing. That's why they choose bike rallies to do some of the sex trafficking transactions, because it's not uncommon for someone not to have a lot of possessions with them. But those are just some of the signs to, like, if you're a waitress in a restaurant and there's a couple that comes in every Friday and you notice that one particular person out of the group never speaks for themselves, but there's one person that always orders their meal for them or says, no, they don't want that. That could be, I'm not saying it is, but it could be either physical abuse or.
Oh, good. Because then I'd have to stop getting the wife to order my dinners. I'm sorry, I'm not a people person. I don't like to interact with the public.
Jimmy's the same way.
And I appreciate my wife doing so much for me in public, but ordering my meal at restaurants and everything else is just something I can't do. So I'd rather go hungry than go up and order my own meal.
Well, and that's why I threw in, I'm not saying it is, because like with Jimmy's 85% deaf. So all of his doctor's appointments I go to with him And often I either have to answer the question for him or repeat the question in a louder voice when I'm sitting right beside him for him to answer the doctor himself or the nurse himself, or but that simply, or like Fluffy said, at a restaurant, most of the time he has no idea what the person just said to him. So I'll say, no, he doesn't want that. Or he'll tell me this is what I want and I'll order it for him. So I'm not saying don't go calling a trafficking line every time you see someone ordering something for their spouse on one occurrence, but there Dustin hates humans
Right.
too, Fluffy.
And like Doris said, I don't like a lot of humans neither. But like Doris said earlier, we do these things about the children and the sex trafficking and all this because it's to bring awareness. Like, I don't want this to happen to my children, but if it does, I want them to know that they can come to talk to me or whoever. I would hope that um, something we're doing here will help somebody else, or someone will see something and say, "This isn't right. Let me make a phone call. Let me look into this." You know. And earlier, I didn't mean to snap on the chat, and I apologize. But like Gaffer said, this isn't a regular roundtable shenanigan stream. This is something that I hold near and dear. Because for me, when it happened to me, nobody cared. It wasn't, we couldn't talk about it.
Can,
It wasn't talked about.
can I
So
be a bit snippet now?
nothing gets fixed if nobody talks about it. Yes,
I care.
yes,
Fluffy kids.
I know.
So
I know you.
some of the
But back then, nobody, I'm sorry.
that's okay. Go ahead.
Go on.
No, go ahead.
So that's why it's bringing in awareness. It's not easy to talk about my past experience because as a survivor of stuff like this, you want to forget. You don't want to think about it no more. But in hindsight, is there every day. Little things you do. For example, for me, I'm extremely overprotective over not just my daughter, but my boys too. I don't like them sitting on people's laps, not even their fathers. I don't. They can't sit on his lap. My son can't sit on a female's lap or a male's lap. No, no, not if they ain't mommy and you're not kissing them, you're not hugging them too long. That's what I took from what happened to me. Um, I'm I try not to be too pushy with how my daughter dresses, but now that she's getting older, I'm getting more pushy because the stigmatism is, like we've been saying all night, oh, if they dress a certain way or they look a certain way, they were asking for it. So, God forbid I don't want this to happen, but it does happen to my daughter. I don't want that to be a reason some asshole can't be prosecuted.
Yep.
I can't tell my 11-year-old daughter this is why the way I am with her and why I don't want her
It's
on
it's
Facebook and why me and Lauren, the only social media my daughter's allowed to have is TikTok and Instagram. And Lauren watches Isabel's Instagram very, very closely. And if she's doing something wrong, Lauren says, take it down. Or she'll get on my daughter and my daughter listens. And then TikTok, I watch very closely. And I'm watching her Instagram as well. But I have 3 kids and I work and all that stuff. So Lauren helps me with this. But she don't have any of social media. Because in this day and age, the internet is another way to molest and traffic and children. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but hopefully it made sense.
So they say that modern day slavery or human trafficking exists wherever people are bought and sold or forced labor or commercial sex. Around the world, there are an estimated 27 million slaves today. Human sex trafficking has been reported in all provinces of Canada, all countries in the world, and in 50 US states. The number of
Folks,
people. Yes.
human trafficking is like slavery. It's been around for millennia and millennia and millennia. It's not going away in a hurry, but hidden trafficking and hidden slave trading allows it to flourish very well. Putting it out there, making everyone aware of it, and keeping people watching for the signs of it will make it so much harder for these people to do it and help to diminish and stomp it out. And as for you, Lisa, being a parent of a young child, you wish them to express themselves in many, many, many ways. It allows their personality to be who they are, allows them to enjoy their life, but educating them on acceptable means of conducting themselves, whether it's their attire, whether it's their mannerisms, and whether it be their interactions with others, is mandatory for parents to do until they are old enough to recognise and make the correct decisions for their own lives. So for you to be a little bit more restrictive as she getting older and more into the times where hormones are going to race like crazy and she's going to make so many mistakes and get herself into so many situations, is what I would consider preemptive training to the experiences you know could happen when she gets older.
Yes.
Thank you. Hello,
That's
mascot.
the hello mascot. So, and they say, like I touched on a little bit earlier, most who are trafficked in the US are US citizens. The average age is 11 and the average lifespan is 7. Canada is now just getting good stats, but knows there are over 17,000 at present, 93% of Canadians who are Canadian citizens. Every two
And
minutes, a child gets taken into slavery around the world. And in the United States, we know that a child is taken into slavery every 2.5 hours.
and slavery is always leads to sex trafficking. Dustin, that fluffer in there is me. Just making sure you understand that's definitely me. I don't have a
And
wrench, but it's me.
I do wanna read something that Doris sent me before we started this stream because I also think this is very important because a lot of people probably are not aware of this. So let me go back and find it. Um, on the internet, when you see child pornography, um, it says 78% of the pornography images de- depicted children under 12 years of age, with majority being under 8. So that's saying a lot, like a lot. Like there's a lot that needs to be done to stop all of this. We're talking about sex trafficking and all that, but the pornography, that's part of it too. The these children get put on camera, they get photos, and it's kind of like an auction. They're auctioning these kids off to the highest bidder, and then whoever bids for them the highest, these are where the kids go. So it's another form of sex trafficking,
What, Dustin? My
not
icon didn't give it away?
just in Sturgis and all the other ways we're talking about it. These pictures, these pictures, and these websites and stuff. That and a lot of times you won't see the auction actually being done right there. What they do is you a lot of these people that know about these sites know where else to go on a Discord. Discord is very big for this. Very big
Oh,
for this.
don't even get me,
You go to a
don't even get
Discord
me
page,
started. What
you put your bid in Discord.
and don't get me wrong, folks.
You go to
And
Discord, you put your bid in the Discord.
Discord has a place in our society. Discord is a
Go on,
wonderful
I'm sorry.
thing for gamers and communication and everything else. But unfortunately, Discord don't give a shit what goes on their Discord. They don't give a shit what each person does. They don't police it. It has a lot of negative, bad, really, really, really not good stuff, and this is one of it. They have sex trafficking, they have slave trafficking, they have child pornography, they have a lot of things going on, and it's connected to the dark web, and that's a reality. I'm sorry, folks, it doesn't sound very nice. Discord is not a wonderful thing, so if your kids have got Discord, you keep a bloody good eye on them, because they can go places they should not be going on Discord. Sorry, Lisa.
I just wanted to bring that up because that's all right. I just wanted to bring that up because we were overlooking that, and that is very important too.
Can I ask a question, Doris?
Yes.
Do you have any information as to any incidences which have been found to be actually happening and been caught at Sturgis rallies?
Yes, I actually read a little bit earlier about in 2019 they haven't released anything for this year yet, but in the past 2 years, in 2018, they do sex trafficking stings every year, and 7 men were arrested in 2018, and 11 men were arrested in 2019 during these stings.
So this bikers against sex against trafficking, basically, it's not just sex trafficking, it's trafficking and anything they see at their rallies, are actually helping and putting a big dent in what's going on at their Sturgis
Yes.
rallies.
And in the chat, I am actually putting the name of their rally they do every year at Sturgis. And if you go to their website, you can either donate for this rally, or they give their address of where you can sign up to be involved in their rally. It's
So
a rally to
if
raise awareness.
if you live near a rally and you wish to go and participate while you're also enjoying the rally, then that would be a very wonderful thing to do and very, very helpful, because the more of us that can help stop this, the more likely it's not going to happen. We're more interested in dobbing into police people using cell phones while driving than we are telling the police that we saw somebody being mistreated or abused down the street. It's phenomenal how much we overlook. It's not
And
my problem. I don't
these
want to
are the
get involved.
dates of their 2021 rally. Just so you're aware. They apparently, the Breaking the Chains ride goes through the Black Hills. And like I said, the purpose is to raise awareness about the tragedy of human sex trafficking. And it says it starts on Tuesday, August 10th. And so
I have a very strong need to bring up recent incidences to highlight the importance of saying something. Recently, everyone knows that I have a mannerism to highlight and make issues about certain parts of women's anatomy. I've done that for a long time, but in not that there's any defence for anyone who's offended by that. There is no defence for doing that to somebody who does not comfortable with it. But in my defence, I do appreciate all aspects of women. But not telling somebody that is not acceptable is almost as much as saying that it is acceptable. Communication is very, very important. when interacting with others. And if somebody crosses the line, that has to be mentioned as soon as possible. Um, because 9 times out of 10, most people don't realise that they are being offensive to some people. And they're never going to know that they're being offensive to some people if those people are not willing to stand up and say, I do not appreciate that, please do not do that. And they tolerate it. And that's where the issue of this is coming into it, folks. Tolerating and putting up with, for the sake of peace of mind and no drama, is not the answer to rape, sexual discrimination, any discrimination, sex trafficking, any other kind of thing like that. The more people, and I'm saying people, I'm not going to generalize this to women, the more people say that they are not appreciative of the conduct that you are handling with that person, the more likely that that person is going to understand that their behavior is not acceptable. Um, and it may actually control and help to go a long way to stop this kind of thing happening in life. Um, you stand up for what you believe in, you stand up for what you feel, and more than likely, it's the same argument with bullies. If you don't tell a bully they're being a bully, they will always be a bully. So, just thought I needed to
All
say
right,
that.
I need to address hold on, I need to address something right now because I'm seeing what B Lady saying in chat and it's becoming huge fucking problem. And I've had a fucking enough of it. So please excuse my language and my temper because I've had a fucking enough of it. B Lady, this isn't. I'm not angry at you. Angry at the fucking situation. What goes on in other people's channels, regardless whether we are part of that community or not, does not reflect on the roundtable or Doris's. Over the last 2 weeks or whatever, since a certain fucking video has been made, this has been fucking happening. One channel's opinion on a situation does not reflect on all of us. That's why you have not seen the roundtable in a lot of people's chats. That's why you have not seen a lot of people that's been normally on our panel, because I'm tired of this childish fucking bullshit. Right now, me and Doris are up here talking about a subject that is very fucking important and is more important than what the fuck stupid shit is going on here on YouTube. And I'm fucking tired of it. I am. I'm tired of other people's shit being reflected onto me and my fucking channel and my family over here. What is going on over on that side does not reflect us. And I'm getting tired of people that come to our channel and our streams feeling like they can't fucking talk because of the bullshit that's happening on the other fucking side. That has nothing to do with us. Nothing. What you say and how you are in our chats and on our fucking channel is nobody else's fucking business. Over here, you're allowed to be yourself, say how you feel, and just be yourself. There is no judgment over here. So whatever's happened in the other community that we may be associated with, we are not a part of. None. And B Lady, you have been none but respectful and nice over on our channel. So whatever happened over there, that's their loss. But we are more than happy to have you over here and speaking in our chats. Don't ever feel for 1 minute because you had a problem with somebody over in another channel that you have to be different over here. Because I won't stand for it. That's not what the roundtable don't do drama. And if people don't start leaving us out of their fucking drama, there's gonna be a whole lot more people being blocked. And I'm gonna walk away from a whole bunch of people. Because I'm sick
Have
of
you
this
sent Mike a
bullshit.
link? Did you send Mike a link?
No, I haven't. No, I didn't. Hold on, Mike. Now, I'm not screaming at you, B lady, so please don't take that the wrong way. I've had a very fucking stressful week, and I'm fucking tired of this bullshit. I am. I don't take sides on none of it, and quite frankly, my opinion is it's all fucking bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. There's no truth to it. It's all fine and dandy when everybody else is in there doing exactly what the fuck we do, and then someone gets a feather up their fucking ass, and now we're all fucking supposed to suffer.
And folks, she is not yelling at anyone
So
in
fuck
general.
off with that. I'm done with it.
She's just yelling. She needs to yell. She's needed to yell for a week. Haven't you, sweetheart?
Yes, I'm just tired of it. Mike, I'm coming. I'm not ignoring you. I'm coming.
Oh, you come
I
for
gotta get
Mike,
the
but
link
me
first
no.
to
You
send it.
just know the go, mate.
Because we have the key.
And like the fluffer said, if you get offended by anything, because Lisa and I's belief is, and this is the type of women we are, if you offend me, I'm going to fucking tell you you offend me. I'm going to tell you, shut the fuck up, and I don't like what you're talking about. And I hope that everyone that comes to my channel and the Roundtable channel feels the same way. That you can speak up and say if someone is offending you.
And
Do
just
not
to
expect
know,
someone to assume they are offending you or not offending you. If you don't say something, they don't know it's offensive.
and just to let you know, for those from somebody who apparently has offended, if you had said to me at the time that you were not comfortable with what I was saying or how I was acting, I would have stopped. It's not that I have to do it. That's what was going on, and that's how things are doing. And until I'm told otherwise, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't do that, because it appears to me that everyone's having fun. So when it's a fun stops for one person, that one person needs to say, sorry, this is not what I want. I'd rather you didn't do that if you don't mind, and it will stop, because I'm not interested here to offend or upset or make anybody uncomfortable. I'm here for the entertainment value, and unfortunately, some places don't have the same entertainment value that the round table does, and until I get told, I don't know.
So yeah. And
Mike, I
dreams,
sent you a link.
that does kind of go along with the topic, because it's the same thing with the whole sexual abuse we were talking about.
Ability, your mom.
Can I just say one thing real quick before we go back on with the topic? Asian fish smokers. Thank you.
Right, Jimmy C?
My God, Jimmy. Ability, your mom. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know dreams. But it's the same, it's along the same lines. If you don't want to do something, or you don't want someone doing something to you, speak up. If you don't like, what the fuck, Mike? He I didn't even take him out. I didn't have nothing to do with putting you in the basement, Mike. I didn't do it.
Not me. I'm clicking no buttons here. All right, Lisa.
I'm waiting. I am waiting.
Hold on. I'm just stepping down while the shit hits.
As soon as the whole topic came up, I came up here with the hot knife in my pocket. So as soon as the whole topic came up, go ahead, Doris.
Finish hitting the fan now.
So yes,
we're gonna have an adult conversation about the shit. I mean, let's just have an adult conversation about the shit. I was gonna share it out, but I can't. Fuck something being retarded, but.
Right.
And if you do speak up and say you're offended by something, or you don't want to talk on a different subject, you're not going to be bullied. Oh, B, I know you wanted to mention Wayfair. What about Wayfair?
Oh, sorry.
What's Wayfair?
Sorry.
Mute your damn thing, Mike.
No, my other phone is playing the.
Rookie.
My other phone is playing the goddamn audio. Sorry, I muted it.
Just remember,
but
you
go
guys
ahead.
invited him up, all right? I'm not taking this one.
I
mate.
didn't.
Hey,
Don't
hey!
include me.
I was trying to share it out. I clicked on the stream, and the audio started playing.
The fuck, Mike?
Well, Mike does live in North Dakota, so he does have input. Just saying.
Oh, there's
So,
much
Mike, do you
controversy about
have
Wayfair.
any knowledge that we have not shared being from the area
On what part?
on like Sturgis and more statistics, maybe? I can never say that word.
Statistics. Yeah. It's a hard word to say. Statistics. Yeah, it's fucking
that
hard.
word.
Yeah, the statistics that you hear year to year, every year in Sturgis are way over exaggerated. What happens is that they are pressed as charges in a certain way, and they try to prove it in that form, and it never works out. So the actual numbers by the end of the year, by the time Sturgis is done, is way less than what the fuck you think, because they can't actually prove any of what you're trying to prove to make those charges stick. So basically what happens is, I don't care, let's just put a basic bitch way. Basic bitch way on human trafficking in South Dakota during Sturgis. Basic bitch way to prove how they get those numbers so high. A 40-year-old guy meets 17-year-old girl selling herself on the streets who ran away from home in San Diego. Who gives a fuck where the hell she's from? San Diego. We'll just say San Diego. So, 40-year-old guy takes 17-year-old girl from San Diego home to his motel room, and party gets busted and includes a raid into his motel room, foreigner, yada yada. Fucking motel staff says he's seen him enter the room with a younger lady. So 40-year-old guy gets busted with 17-year-old girl from San Diego, and he's from God knows where. He could be from San Diego too. Who gives a shit? But this is where the child trafficking numbers like grow increasingly during the motorcycle rally in South Dakota, is because so many runaways that are like 17, 18 area, they can even actually be 18 and they'll still be counted as minors because they haven't talked to their parents in fucking 6 months. So those people are still considered minors because they're still under a missing child's case 6 months ago, even though they turned 18 during the happening. Do you understand what I mean? They might have went missing when they were 17, when they ran away. So if they ran away at 17 and stayed away longer than 6 months and they turned 18, it's no longer a problem of the police department.
But it seems like you're saying also that runaways who join the act of prostitution in order to make their way through the system and get where they're going or do what they're doing are then put into the child trafficking sex thing because they are
because they were reported
though,
originally as minors.
Even though their choice to do it, but they weren't forced to do it by the sex traffickers as per se.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they started doing it as minors on their own and then picked up by sex traffickers, so-called sex traffickers. But since they started doing it as minors and then they're fucking adults when they actually are doing it, they're put into the same fucking ring in the same circle, and it makes the numbers grow exponentially.
But that's
the
not
problem.
To say, folks,
the problem isn't as big as South Dakota tries to make it think it is. to make it like a big ass deal, like we're gonna just shut the goddamn motorcycle rally down. No, no, that ain't gonna happen. It's
No,
there's
it's not gonna happen. But
yeah,
but they'd like it to.
it's not the problem. A lot of your officials make you think it is. Is it a problem if 3 or 4 minors end up missing during the whole motorcycle rally, yada yada, and up in sex trap? Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, and do they do their best to situate that out? Yes, yes they do. Why the fuck can I hear myself?
I don't know.
Because you haven't got your headphones in.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm
No,
just
he's got his
assuming.
headphones in.
I think maybe it's because Doris's headphones are plugged into the wrong jack.
No, they're
Yes,
But
plugged
Donna,
into
we
the.
said that.
it's
We said
because
earlier.
of
We did say
the
that earlier
COVID
that
shit and
sex
everything
trafficking had
else.
been going on for many, many, many years, even before.
Yeah, because of COVID and everything else, they tried to explode the whole fucking rally and make it sound like it was just a real terrible, terrible idea. And then there was even reports coming out that like 70% of everybody who went to the fucking rally got fucking COVID. No, that's not true at all. There was just so much fucking bullshit that went on behind the rally. It's not even funny. And it's the same
What?
bullshit that follows the
Mike,
rally every
Mike,
year. But
hold on, Mike. Mike, I do have to ask you a question. So let me understand it. So you're saying that the teenage girl, the allegedly teenage girl, could have came from, we'll say, Indiana, and then the guy picking her up in Sturgis is from Indiana, but because they both are in Sturgis, Sturgis gets that count added to the sex trafficking count. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, that actually does happen. Yep. Yep, because the actual crime, if
Okay.
she is a
I'm not
minor,
asking
if she is a minor, and this happened the way you said it, if she is a minor and she's in South Dakota for the biker rally, and he is an adult and he's there for the biker rally, the crime actually happened in South Dakota. It didn't happen in Indiana, even though they're both from Indiana. The crime did not happen in Indiana. It happened in South Dakota. So the file is actually done under South Dakota law. It doesn't matter where the fuck you're from. If I drive to Alaska and I shoot an Alaskan, I'm charged for murder in Alaska, not North Dakota. I can't go to Alaska, shoot somebody, come back to North Dakota, be like, well, they can't charge me. I'm a North Dakotan. Doesn't happen that way. No.
right.
That
Donna,
they don't care what state
Donna,
you're from.
nobody's
The
saying
crime
sex
has to
trafficking is
happen in the state.
we're not saying that. No
Donna,
one said
that's
that.
yeah.
In the state, we're
It's
not
just
saying that.
it's just a different topic on the sex trafficking. It's a part of the
And
sex trafficking that we were asked to talk about.
yeah, nobody is saying that the sex trafficking started with the bikers. What we're saying is at the Sturgis rallies and those type of rallies, the bikers have been noticing that sex trafficking is in the rally, and in their attempt to clean up that stigma of the rally, they're trying to catch and stop sex trafficking within the rallies. That's all we're saying here, and we're giving you the information of the facts that we are able to obtain. Whether those facts are actually ballooned out or inflated or whatever, we don't know because we're not party to that much information. But Mike has more basically knowledge and experience on this. That's fair enough, and we thank you, Mike, for bringing your input into this. But that's what
Is
we're
it
saying. We're not accusing anybody. We're not making a big deal about this. We're saying it happens.
Yeah. And B, that's only the case in people from other countries. Earlier, I stated that I believe it was 75% of sex traffickers in the US are US citizens, so they don't come from other countries. But yes, coast like Florida and California, yes, if they're trafficked from another country, those are larger imports of them because they're on the coast.
okay? Hold up. Now just back up what you said there, Doris, and say it again, all the way to the beginning.
So I said that the states that are on the coast are higher in trafficking for people that are not from this country.
False.
Then how do they get them in?
People from the
What does that
coast are
even mean,
not in a
Donna?
higher. People from the coast are not in a higher threat of being trafficked by sex.
No, I mean
No, that's not what she's saying. What she's
I'm
saying
saying
is the
that's where they're brought
importing of
in.
victims of sex trafficking are more in the coast because that's how they get them into the country than
False.
the insert. That's what's
False. Also false because Texas isn't on the fucking coast and it's one of the highest ones.
But it's right next to
Oklahoma is
Mexico.
not on. Oklahoma has no fucking ocean boundaries, whatever whatsoever. It's also one of the highest one. Las Vegas is landlocked. It's one of the highest ones for sex trafficking.
Right, but I also said from other countries. I said the highest statistics in the US are people that are US citizens. So that would be all over the country, not just in the coast.
The coast has nothing to do with how you can be sex trafficked at all. You are vulnerable pretty much no matter what state you're in if you're vulnerable enough and you don't know how it works.
but
I
the coast.
understand
Let's
that.
just put it basic. Let's put it to the basic bitch way that people are going to understand it. If we're going to put a message out, put a fucking message out that people are going to understand. Let's not scare people with statistics. If you live in California, oh my God, you are way higher statistic to be vulnerable to sex
Then
trafficking.
you're
No, you're
not
not.
listening.
Mike,
No,
You're
you're
not
not.
What we're
listening.
saying is Florida and the Californian coast have more imported victims of sex trafficking than anywhere else in the state because all the immigrants
False.
and all the
False.
illegals have coming in through Florida and Canada. That's what people are
No,
saying.
it's also fucking false because most of the victims of sex trafficking come up through fucking Mexico, through Texas. That is the highest majority of it is through fucking Texas up through Mexico. So it's also a fucking false statement. If we're gonna actually fucking inform people about sex trafficking, let's be fucking truthful on the goddamn deal. We're not gonna sit up here on a panel and have people listen to us to try to scare them. No, we're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be part of it.
That's not what we're
I'm not
trying to
gonna
do,
sit up
Mike.
here.
So stop
No.
saying that's what we're trying to do. That's not what we're trying to do.
Exactly. So let's just be fucking true with them.
She
California,
asked
Florida
you a
are not the
question.
highest numbers. You can Google it. The highest numbers actually come up through Mexico and then down through Canada through the middle fucking states because it's the easiest place to get people across.
All right. So B Lady said she
If
meant
you were to
exiting the
fucking bring
US.
somebody across the border, would you bring them across the border where there's millions of people going across, where they fucking have a constant eye out, or would you bring them through where everything's kind of a lax kind of system, like oh yeah, that person's white, yada yada. Ah,
All
they got pack bags. Which one are you going to go through?
right, Mike. So here's the question. Where is the
Okay,
highest volume of sex trafficking victims being exited from the US?
exited from the U.S. through Canada, and normally it's up above New York, up on the East Coast, normally.
So Florida and California have very little to do with the exiting of sex trafficking.
Through no, yeah, exactly, yeah, not a whole lot because actually the uh Navy and all them actually take care of a whole lot of that part. But the basic crossing of the border through like the Great Falls and stuff like that is actually a whole lot greater than them driving off down through fucking Florida and taking a boat to, there's a whole lot going out through Canada than there is through Florida and the Bahamas and all them.
Okay, so when are we going to let Lisa and Doris do their planned stream? Have we gone
Well,
off plan,
we
School?
can let them do their planned stream. Like I'm just up here, like listening to the planned stream. I'm just having a an
Adding.
adult conversation.
So are we gone off the planned stream used to, or are we got
No, we were still on the planned stream. We asked
okay,
Mike if he had any
just checking.
statistics on Sturgis.
just checking. I don't want the chat thinking that this is not what was meant to happen, and that everything has been railroaded, because I don't believe it. I think we've just had more points of view and a little bit more facts brought into
But
the conversation.
I do want Donna to
Where the Sturgis numbers get railroaded at?
hold on.
Okay, sorry.
I do
Go
want
ahead.
Donna. Hold on, Mike.
I said go ahead. I said go
To
ahead.
explain this comment.
Oh, Donna.
I do want Donna to explain this comment because I do find it a little disrespectful. So that's why I'm going to ask her to explain it. She said, I blame a lot of it on drugs that was passed to the survivors. What the hell is that supposed to mean?
You broke up in the middle there.
Wave your laptop around or something. Pick up the signal again.
I didn't hear everything she said, so I have no idea what
Read
she
it on
actually
the
said.
read.
It
Read
says
it
I
on. Can you
blame.
read it? It's on the bottom of the screen. Oh, it was on the
It
bottom.
says I blame a lot of it on drugs that was passed to these survivors.
I blame a lot of it on drugs that were passed to the survivors.
Yes.
The survivors are on drugs?
Well, that's why we want her to explain.
Shit. I didn't know. Damn it. I didn't know they give drugs to the survivors. Be like, you made it through. Have a little hit of meth. That'll make you feel better.
Actually, Donna, believe it or not, and I've got to double check the facts, but Pakistan, Thailand, China, India, and Bangladesh are only routes of trafficking.
Yep.
Trafficking can come from Africa, Middle East, believe it or not, England, United States.
The majority of trafficking comes out of Africa.
Yep. And they've been doing it for thousands of years. And
there's very low crime in the Philippines, Japan, and all them. You got to remember, the Philippines is like 7,000 and some fucking odd islands. There's very low traffic there. Most people in the Philippines don't lock their doors. They don't even take the keys out of their little fucking mopeds. You just leave them on the side of the road and park it like a bicycle, put the kickstand down and walk away.
Mike, nobody mentioned the Philippines. It was Pakistan.
Well,
Thailand,
you mentioned the Philippines earlier. Earlier.
No, I said Pakistan, Thailand, China, India, and Bangladesh. In as far as I'm concerned, the information we get down here in Australia is that's where the root of the trafficking is, because money changes hands real quickly in some of those countries for indiscretions. So people are able to traffic from the main areas, and believe me, pirating in Africa and child sales from family to owners and all that kind of stuff happens so much in those areas. And to bring them to a place where they can make money, it's through the Asian countries to quick changeover and through the island. It's weird.
And Susan, not always, though.
Donna, we talked about that earlier.
Most of the time, they are used in compliance with promises, usually like with, for one example, Bill Cosby or a famous person will use, I can get your career to go somewhere. That is sometimes how they're pulled in.
It's not only that, some victims of sex trafficking, especially immigrant ones, are sold by the families because they're so poor they need to actually make money, so they sell their children off to certain people. And what happens to the children after them, it's got nothing to do with families. They may not like the idea, but they need to survive, so it is a customary thing to sell your children off to people.
Gap is right on that one. Yes.
Or
and so then they become
that's
willing.
A main happening. That's a main happening in Africa and the Philippines.
Yeah, and you become a willing participant because it is. You don't want to.
You grow up
the family
thinking it's
by
normal.
Ripping it away. Lisa, you're not the fluffer.
You're not the fluffer. You grow up thinking it's normal because you're literally raised in the ideal that you're helping, supporting your family, and this is a normal way of life. It's not that they choose to do it. They think it's fucking normal.
Right. Like I was saying earlier, sometimes it's gone on for 5 generations. Each generation does it to the following generation.
I can send out a link. We can get somebody from the Philippines up here, and we can get somebody from Africa up here. I have friends in both. No,
let's not forget.
no,
though,
we don't
this
want to
is
hear it from the word of the mouth of the horse, or what?
We're gonna go join.
Well,
Skeeter.
right now, Mike, we're talking about bikers.
No,
Standing
because
up
we
to this.
usually end it.
And not only that, but
Hold
we're over our time.
hold on. We usually go only. Right, we're over our time, and I promised Skeeter we would be over there on his
Oh
channel.
yeah,
So that's what
we're
gonna go
over
do.
our time
So I'm
definitely,
gonna
but
end this
we're
stream.
deep in the conversation here.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got prior
We
arrangements.
carry it
And
on
waiting.
next week. So we're gonna
What did
end
Skeeter
this.
say?
See you in next week, and we're all going to Skeeter channel. I'm gonna end
To
this
where?
broadcast, and then we're just gonna join Skeeter. He
Where the
knows
hell's
we're
Skeeter
coming
at?
over on Skeeter's channel.
He's on his own channel?
Yeah.
So yes. So we will
Bye,
see
folks.
everybody over on Skeeter's. We're not going live alone tonight on the roundtable. So bye everybody. See you there.
Somebody gonna drop Skeeter's fucking link?
Maybe when we get there and Skeeter says, give
No,
Mike a
we're
link.
just gonna go there.
No, like somebody gonna drop Skeeter's fucking channel link, not his
Oh,
fucking.
that
No,
link.
we're just